Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Practical Cybersecurity Workshop for SME leaders. If you are a full newbie to cyber and you would ask any expert what you should start from, it would be start from awareness. See, the employee, and particularly you, is the first point of contact with the hacker, so to say. The victim could be manipulated without employee's will, and this always has been a disaster for cybersecurity teams. 70 to 80% of cyber attacks starts from phishing campaigns. The lockdown and the new work-from-home standard due to COVID-19 pandemic have boosted this further. And even old forgotten social engineering techniques, this is how we call manipulation in cyber, suddenly were reinvented and widely being used until now. Did you know that attackers don't only use email for delivering attacks? They are exploiting popular social media sites, instant messaging applications, and file sharing services. Facebook, Telegram, Slack, Microsoft Teams, Dropbox, and other popular platforms could serve as the initial point of penetration into the organization. So don't think it's only about email clicks. There's a saying, the human factor is the weakest point in cybersecurity. A single click is enough to let the adversaries in. As you remember from the previous chapter, the link to that session in the description to this video, by the time adversaries are on the intrusion stage, they are prepared and know the context. Don't think you or your employees are random persons, which they try to manipulate. They are prepared and know what they are doing. So, to handle this, what we could and what we should do is to educate. Unfortunately, for cybersecurity awareness or cyber hygiene, it's similar to the life safety protection training. Everybody understands that it's important, but it's so boring to learn unless the one has experienced disaster in the past. This is why to engage people, the best approach. And what is the best method to engage people? Right, to explain why it is important for them. And if employees are loyal, they would take care of what is crucial for organization they are employed at. So explain the basics of cyber, how a cyber attack happens, that it is not an overnight single action and it's a long operation, etc. You can make a quick recap on this topic over the link to previous episode down below. And then provide a list of mindset advices and hints on how to recognize a cyber attack and how to help your organization to respond to the attack more efficiently. One of main pillars of behavior change is reinforcement, and continuous reinforcement and repetition will transform your behavior into a habit. In security awareness training, the behavior change that the employer wants is to teach employees how to react appropriately every time they receive potentially malicious content. The other objective is for employees to understand why reporting about these threats is important to the organization. Research has proven that workplaces need continuously overcome a habit of trying to scare people into action and highlight when employees do the right thing or reach their goal with reward or positive feedback. When employees report a phishing simulation correctly and when they are given positive feedback, they will more likely to report real phishing threats that hit their inbox in the future. This is the whole point of phishing training. By the way, practical phishing campaign, when you test your employees almost in real life, is a very effective tool. You should consider such option when you be choosing a solution or provider for such engagement. Top 10 topics and activities to be included into the cyber hygiene training are: first, explaining the basics. Cyberspace is no longer a cozy, safe place. You need to explain basics and demonstrate real-life examples from your industry or from your country or from the region. Social engineering and phishing. Explain the theory with real-life examples. Third, practical phishing exercise. Try to exercise your employees. This would really help you to improve their behavior patterns. Fourth, home Wi-Fi and public places connections and LTE security. Fifth, email and messengers and any other communication means. What risks are hidden there? Attachments and files, why they could be risky. Passwords and two-factor authentication. Legitimate software updates and patches. Remote access security and mobile device security. And finally, your company's policies: information security policy, password policy, internet use policy, social media policy, incident response policy, and many other policies which you are going to write during your cybersecurity journey. You could start with a small and simple LMS and then migrate to the better solution in the future. As a workaround, you could consider one of those free national campaigns in cyber hygiene across the globe, which are free. Usually these are simple LMS with quizzes about universal cyber hygiene skills. The key downside is that you won't see the feedback on the training progress and conclusions, as well as you won't see the full picture at a glance across the entire organization. If the budget is not so tight, you should consider professional cyber hygiene learning platforms. They often come with phishing emulation tool available. If you decide to design a training by your team, a link to the list of recommended topics by SANS could be found in the textbook. So take yours in the link down below. It's free. Don't underestimate the value of cyber hygiene training for your employees. When you have an army of defenders, it's so much easier to implement future changes since the people are aware of why it is important.